Four-corner drill should be added to any football training, whether you're young, old. This drill is probably one of the best to be able to do in your summer condition. It takes about 5 minutes. Set 4 cones up, and you got a bit of a directional aspect to it. You can mix some different things in with the ball, doing different points if you've got a partner. If you don't have a partner, it's also easy to just kind of set up some sequences that you'll run through, whether it be shuffling, backpedaling, doing your drop step sprints to the cones. But generally, what length of the cones do we want to set these at? Are we going 5 yards, 10 yards? What generally are we doing?
I think he's got to have enough to where he does build up some momentum. So I would say maybe 10.
Changes with age groups, right? If you're working younger guys, squeeze them a little.
And your ability,
right.
You know.
This drill is definitely more effective with a partner or a coach for sure. I think the reaction element to this type of drill, being able to point to a cone and having the athlete really change direction, it's a bit of a step up. You know, if you're going out there to the field just by yourself and you're running some sequences. So imagine you stand in the front, you run forward to the left cone, you backpedal. You know what I mean? You just set up a little bit of a sequence. You're going to kind of miss the ball a little bit on the reaction element from a coach pointing in the directions.
Yeah, there's not really that push element where the coaches, or maybe it's not a coach, maybe it's your teammate and you guys are working on each other, as long as you understand what you're trying to accomplish. So it's not funny. We're trying to get you to react, to move, and to develop your skills.
Well, there's a little bit of an art to being the person telling them to move as well. If you notice like a lot of fatigue going on, or you're pushing the envelope a little bit. So say you've done 5 position changes. You've went through the back pedal and all of a sudden the wheels are moving real slow. That's a good indication that then you need to throw the ball and have them do the reaction at that point. So let's kind of take just a second to be very specific with the drill breakdown. What you'll do is you'll set up the 4 cones about 10 yards apart. Squeeze them if they're younger, stretch it a little bit if you've got some longer distance running position players involved. And then generally you're going to be in partners, or a dad or a coach will be the person calling it out. And then simply all we're going to do is point with the football in the direction that you want them to go. And there's going to be a couple key movement points that you're going to be doing. Anytime you're moving forward, it's a dead sprint ahead. Anytime that you're moving directly backwards, that's when you'll move through a back pedal. Keep your chest forward a little bit, maintain good balance. Anytime you're moving directly laterally, we're going to use a shuffle. And then that backdrop moving to the 45-degree angle will always be a drop and read the football. So don't take your eyes off of off the football, drop and read, and then you'll finish each individual set with either the football on the ground for a cover up, or it'll be a fumble, pick it up, and then sprint out 20 or 30. You don't need to go that far. 15, 20 yards is just fine for this specific drill. You can add Kbands to this as well. Kbands have an awful lot of benefits in a small window when you're trying to get some great conditioning in your legs. Throwing on Kbands in these tight quarters can really turn on your glutes and work your hip flexors on those linear sprints better than any product on the market. This specific drill, what you'll feel is an awful lot of resistance in that tight window going from left to right. You're going to need to give a little bit of rest. So if you're working with guys and it's not a back-to-back-to-back thing, it's not grab a football, throw them back in the fire.
Well, when you want to be intense.
Right.
It's not really an endurance drill. This is to build speed and agility. So train it like that. And I will say, when you put the bands on, now it's almost like you're going, I get the double benefit. I'm really advancing my benefits from the same drill.
Well, it's nice because you can do these type of football drills in the bands, and it doesn't take away from your skills. You get to utilize the football still. You get to keep younger kids motivated with a sport-specific movement, but you get to do an awful lot of leg training as well. Unclip the bands on your resisted sets. Follow up your 6 to 8 resisted sets with maybe 2 to 3 unresisted, and you'll feel the difference. Young kids, eyes will light up, and it's a big, big difference in the way that your body moves and how much you can explode just because you have full muscle engagement. You're moving out of that resistance phase. I always, you kind of talk about a weighted bat. You're trying to get your hands loose, trying to get the bat moving. Most people have played baseball one day in their life and have put a donut on a bat, and you swing it a couple times, you take it off, everything feels lighter. Very similar concept. But you get to build a little bit of muscle with the resistance, and then you take it off.
I always enjoyed watching the reaction when they go through a couple of drills and they've had the bands on and they take them off. That really hits home here that I get it now.
Right.
How much faster and quicker, and it just feels better when I move.
It's a big smile on most kids'
now,
faces.
Now
for
you
sure.
know. Now you've mentally understand what you're doing. What's this doing for me?
So let's point out a couple keys to this drill, though. The one thing I want everyone to understand is that whenever you're doing these position style drills where you're transitioning between movements, lateral movements, sprints, that drop and read, the biggest thing is that you stick to the change in directions every single time. So be a little bit of a stickler. When we're moving lateral, don't let that little 45-degree jog thing go on. When you're doing a back pedal, don't let the hips open up. Stay very linear and back pedal.
It's still a matter of you're going to play like you practice, and you need to be in a proper position.
Right.
So don't mix that up. And if you are too tired, let's stop. Let's take a breather.
Yeah, you could always give longer rest periods in between, or sometimes people use too much resistance on some of these. You know, we have a lot of tips or questions from young dads, right? They've got their young kid, they're 8 or 9 years old, and they're out there and they're putting them in blue bands. And they're like, do you think that's too much resistance? Absolutely, that's too much. Yeah.
I mean, again, back to the 10%. That's what we're looking for. 10, maybe 15% resistance to push you, to challenge you. But I still want you to be in athletic position, so I don't want you overloading and now we can't perform the drill properly.
Yeah, full range of motion. You got to have full range of motion during the drill. But this here is a great 5-minute workout that you can put in the summer conditioning. If you get to run out to an outdoor football field, it's a fun drill to mix it up with. If you're in season even, this is a nice little change of pace to give you some conditioning towards the end of practice. But make sure you're pushing yourself. Utilize the bands. You can grab them at kbandstraining.com to enhance and make your workouts just a little bit harder.